It was supposed to be the perfect weekend. Just me, my brother, and the quiet of the mountains. We left the city before sunrise. The roads were empty. The air felt cold and clean. We barely spoke during the drive, just listened to the tires hum against the pavement. By noon, we reached the trailhead. Only 2 other cars in the lot. The forest stretched out ahead, a wall of dark green, still wet from last night's rain. We hiked for hours. No cell service, no voices, only the crunch of our boots and the occasional crack of a branch somewhere deep in the trees. By late afternoon, we found it. A small clearing, flat ground, a perfect spot for the tent. It was surrounded on 3 sides by pines so dense, you couldn't see 10 feet in. We set up camp, built a small fire, cooked a quick meal. The smell of smoke and sizzling meat mixed with the damp scent of moss and pine. For a while, it felt peaceful. The kind of peace you only find far from people. But then, somewhere out in the trees, a sound, not loud, just wrong. A faint tap, 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 rhythmic, like someone knocking on wood, slowly. We froze. My brother tilted his head. "Woodpecker," he whispered. "Maybe, but it didn't sound right. Too deliberate. Too human." The sound stopped. Silence pressed in. We sat back down, pretending to relax, but I kept glancing toward the tree line. The sun slipped lower. Shadows pooled in the spaces between the trunks. The air cooled fast. Then, it came again. Tap, tap, tap. This time, closer. My brother stood, squinting into the dim forest. "Hello," he called. No answer. Just the wind stirring the needles above. We tried to ignore it, told ourselves it was nothing. But when darkness fell, the unease stayed. The fire burned low. We crawled into the tent, zipped it shut, listened to the forest breathing around us. For a while, nothing. Then, footsteps. Slow, crunching leaves, circling the clearing. We lay completely still. My heart pounded so hard, I was sure whoever was out there could hear it. The steps stopped, right beside the tent, so close. I could hear the faint creak of fabric as something brushed against it. Then, a long, slow drag, like fingertips sliding down the nylon wall. I almost screamed. My brother grabbed my arm, his eyes wide in the dark. We didn't move, didn't speak, didn't breathe. After what felt like hours, the sound faded. The forest went still. Morning light felt unreal, like we'd imagined it all. But outside the tent, tracks, not boots, not shoes, bare feet, small, dirty, pointing in circles around our camp. We packed up fast. Neither of us said it out loud, but we weren't staying another night. The hike back felt longer, the forest heavier. At one point, my brother stopped. "There," he whispered. I followed his gaze. About 30 feet away, between 2 trees, something stood. Too thin, too pale. Its head tilted unnaturally to one side. I blinked, and it was gone. We didn't run. We walked fast. Every sound behind us, every rustle of leaves, felt like it was following. When we reached the car, I didn't look back. Neither did my brother. We drove in silence. And even now, sometimes, when I'm alone in my apartment at night, I hear it again. That slow, deliberate tap, tap, tap. I thought it would be different this time, different from the last trip. I drove alone this weekend, no distractions, just the river, the forest, and me. I arrived late afternoon. The campsite was small, tucked behind a bend in the river. The water ran slow, dark and murky. I could see the reflection of the overhanging trees ripple as the breeze moved them. I set up my tent. The ground was soft, damp. The smell of wet earth and decaying leaves filled the air. I made a small fire. Wood crackled. Smoke curled into the sky. For a moment, everything felt normal, peaceful. Then, the first sound came. A splash. Faint, across the river. I froze. The water was calm, no wind, no animals. I shook my head. Just fish, I whispered to myself. But the unease stayed. Night came faster than I expected. The sky was deep indigo, almost black. Stars poked through the gaps in the trees. The fire burned lower. Then, a whisper. I couldn't tell if it came from the water or the forest. It was soft, but distinct. Help. I stopped breathing. The sound came again, closer this time. A faint, desperate plea, almost human. I grabbed a flashlight, shone it across the river. Nothing. I tried to convince myself. Maybe an animal trapped. Maybe someone playing a prank. I returned to the tent. The whispering didn't stop. It circled me. From the trees, from the river, from somewhere I couldn't locate. I slept. Fitfully. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, jolted me awake. Around 2 a.m., the fire was out. The darkness pressed in. Then, I saw movement. Outside the tent, across the river, a shadowed figure. Tall, thin, standing motionless, eyes reflecting faint moonlight. Watching me. I froze. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't move. Then, it turned and began to walk along the riverbank. Slow, deliberate. I wanted to leave. I wanted to run. But my body betrayed me. The figure stopped, raised an arm, pointed directly at my tent. My heart raced. I fumbled with the tent zipper. Then, silence. The river lapped softly. The forest seemed still. I couldn't hear anything else. Morning light was a relief. But the shadow wasn't gone. On the riverbank. Footprints. Small, bare, leading from the water to the trees. I packed quickly. Every sound made me jump. Every rustle, every bird call, every distant splash felt like it was following me. By noon, I reached my car. I didn't look back. I drove without stopping. Every curve of the road, every bend. I imagined it there, that night, and many nights after. I still hear the water. I still see the shadow. Still feel the eyes on me. Watching. Waiting. Always just beyond the river. We had been planning this trip for months. 3 friends, 1 remote forest trail, a weekend to escape everything. The drive there was quiet. We joked, laughed, pretended not to notice the clouds gathering above. By mid-afternoon, we reached the trailhead. The sign was old, faded. Camp at your own risk. We didn't care. We hiked deep into the forest. The trees grew taller, thicker, their branches weaving a canopy that blocked most of the sunlight. By evening, we found a clearing. Perfect spot for the tent. We set up quickly. The air was cool, heavy with the scent of pine and damp soil. We made a fire, cooked a simple meal, talked about nothing, everything. Nothing mattered. Night fell fast. The forest became alive in a way that made your skin crawl. Every rustle of leaves, every distant snap of a branch felt deliberate, watched. Around 11 p.m., I noticed something. A dim light moving between the trees, a lantern. Someone was walking toward us. We froze, called out. Nothing. The light moved closer, then stopped. It hovered just beyond the edge of our clearing, no figure visible, just the lantern, swaying slightly, back and forth, as if someone were holding it, just out of reach. Maybe a lost hiker, my friend whispered. But the forest trail we'd taken was overgrown. Hardly anyone came here. The lantern moved again, closer this time, and then it vanished. We laughed nervously, tried to convince ourselves it was a trick of the light, a reflection from the fire, anything but real. But the feeling stayed, eyes watching us, always watching. Around 2 a.m., I woke. The tent was cold. The air smelled of smoke and something else. Metallic, faint. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Soft. Crunching leaves. Circling the clearing. I shook my friends awake. No answer. They were still asleep. The footsteps stopped, right outside our tent. I held my breath. Then, a whisper. "Leave!" I froze. The sound came from all around. The shadows, the trees, the darkness itself. We packed hurriedly. The fire had burned out. We grabbed everything and ran, through the forest, tripping over roots, branches slapping our faces, hearts pounding, lungs burning. When we finally reached the trailhead, the parking lot, empty, no car, no lights, nothing. We drove back in silence. The lantern never appeared again, but I still see it in my dreams. Swaying, moving, always just beyond the trees, watching, waiting, and I know, if I ever go back, it will be there.